there are people who have raised concerns, especially with the fight against Galamsey. So you have the environmentalists not so happy with John Dramani Mahama. When it comes to the economy, the general public seem to be happy with the president. They talk about the appreciation of the cedi. They talk about the inflation and all others. They seem to be happy generally with the president. When you go to the political parties, it's a different story. The NPP feels the president hasn't done so well based on his promises. So when they look at the promises, they believe that the president hasn't done well. Other political parties also feel the president could have done better than 1 year. But generally, when you look at and you scan through the system, the president has received some high marks for his 1 year. Okay. And it's not surprising that Musa Dankwa's polls about a month ago on how the people are accepting or rating the work of the president seems to give him like 67, 64% of a job well done.
Well done.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Musa, I'll come to you shortly, but Asanda, let me take you. You also been, speaking to people on the 1 year of President Mahama. What sentiment did they share to you?
Well, I think it's similar to what Fred is saying. Generally, people are content, people are happy. The parties, the New Patriotic Party, the chapter in Parliament called a press conference. The Honourable Member of Parliament, yes, Faskwa, did a press conference and spoke on behalf of the minority. They said things are not as rosy as people think they are. But last night on Eyewitness News, I had a debate between two MPs, the NDC MP for Sanarigu and then the MPP MP for Wale Wale. And what I did in my interview with them was, first question, I said to the MPP MP, give me one good thing that you think the NDC has done over the past 1 year. And he gave me like 3 or 4 good things that he thought they did with the economy. Then I said to the NDC MP, can you give me one bad thing that you think your government did? And I think he also gave me about 2 or 3 bad things that they did. So things cannot always be very rosy, but generally comparing to say 2024, people were seeing a remark different. So there's stability, there's some surety, and I think there's generally excitement. If for nothing at all, the cedi has been stable. People who are importing, I saw my own colleague and former mate at GIJ write on Facebook today about a vehicle that he was due to clear in 2024. The amount that he was supposed to pay. When the cedi stabilized, and it came down first, and the dollar came down, the cedi stabilized, he was paying about 100,000 less than what he would have paid. Oh, wow. So that is a personal story that he has told, and it excites people that you see things like that. You can do your plans, you can schedule things. The electricity has been stable. We, of course, would see power outages here and there, but it's generally been okay. We are seeing a lot of aggressiveness on working on some of the roads. The Pokwasi Amasaman road was a death trap. People feared to use that road. In fact, people even use a brief because of that. When the president came, he went there, he made some promises. They started watering the road, at least for starters. The motorway, I use the motorway a lot of the times. I see construction happening. In that, under Akufo-Addo, there was construction happening generally, but people were still complaining about the delays. But it appears that there's some progress that we are seeing now. So there's some positive optimism. There's some general optimism, and people say that often in the first year of every government, these things happen. In 2001, it happened with Kufuor. People 30-year jubilation. 2017, I remember the Asempa budget and how people at Tabosoka were celebrating that Akufo-Addo had come and things were being fixed. It is usually the sweetness of the pudding is seen in the eating. And so this is 1 year. He has done a yeoman's job. Let's celebrate President Mahama, but let's say that let's keep it going the way it is, because if you overhype and over-celebrate, you may end up crashing, and we pray that things remain the way they are for the next 3 or 4 years, and even beyond.
All right. Sana, thank you very much. Musa, come to you. You've been doing some work on the performance of the president in the last 1 year. What are people saying, generally, from your interaction with them?
Generally, it's been very positive, not different from what your colleagues have mentioned. Across board, nearly 70% of voters are happy with the performance of the president. And there is no regional variation in terms of the support. It cut across every region that we have, and including the regions that the MPP won in the last election. Eastern region is quite high, around 60-something%. Ashanti region around 46%. Even in the Northeast, around 70%. Very, very high in the Northeast region. So you could see people are generally happy with what they've seen so far, and they tend to appreciate that by saying that they approve the work that the president is doing.
Okay. Now let's focus on the MPP, because in the next 23 days, we'll know who will lead the party going to the election of 2028. You've done some work as at 31st of December 2025. What do you have for us?
Look, let's make this distinction very clear. Prior to this date, we've done that of the delegates.
Okay.
Just the MPP delegates. And from the delegate, we saw Mahama on 45%, Kennedy on 31%, 11% were not disclosing, and 9% undecided. Brian was about 3%. But that was the broad view from the delegates. We wanted to know who Ghanaians, the ordinary voters, would prefer to lead in this MPP. So we look at the broader voting population, both MPP, NDC, and floating voters. And then we also zoom into those who are just MPP voters. What is their view? Look, the thing is that you want to be able to align yourself with the nation, also with your party folks, because it is very good for a party delegate who have been selected as a delegate to represent the rest that couldn't be delegate, to speak the mind of the ordinary rank and file of the party. So it's quite important that we see what their thinking is. Now, if you look at what we are, I don't know whether we should, I don't know whether that would be a bit further away. Okay, so basically we sampled a very big number of almost 13,500 people were sampled across all the various regions, and the sample were deployed. Small was done through web, other telephone, and mostly face-to-face in the various regions between 1st December and 31st December. Now, I'm going to look at the demographic of the people we sampled. Female 44%, male 56%. And then if you look at the age groups, 18 to 24, 8%, 25 to 34, 31%, and then 35 to 44, 37%. If you add this age group, nearly 68%. Add this 8%, huge number of Ghanaian voters are below 44 years. These guys are the ones going to call the shot in the next election. Educational level, junior high 16%, senior high 35%, tertiary 35%, and then no formal qualification 14%. So that number is dwindling. Those without formal qualification is dwindling. And as they dwindle, the campaign becomes very difficult for political parties. Misinformation gets very, very hard. Employment, about 60% were employed, 28 unemployed, quite high. Students 10%, and pensioners around 2%. Religion, 70% Christians, broadly in line with national average. Islam about 19%, broadly in line. Traditional religion, non-religion, and then other religions. Ethnic groups account again 45%, around 47% nationally. Moni Dagbani 12%, Ganadangbe 11%, Ewe 11%, others 8%, the Guans 8%. So these are the broad demographic of people we sampled. Now here is the story of political affiliation. Political affiliation is very important. The more people are able to say that I am MPP, the better for you in the next election. Or those who are likely MPP will likely vote for MPP candidates. If they are likely NDC and they outnumber you, you are going to be in trouble. This is the number so far. MPP or NDC were 42% in October, now down 41%, a drop of 1%. MPP was 27% in October, now down to 26%. They have declined. And floating voters were 17, now 19%. The people who don't tell you their party, up from 10% to 11%. And those who support the smaller parties, down from 4 to 3. The big shift we've seen here is that MPP used to be around 37% nationally. before the election. Now they are down to 26%. NDC was 33% in the before last election, now 41%. Now we are showing the political party affiliation by age groups. I'll just focus on the NDC and MPP. Among those who are 18 years, 42% of them are NDC, 22 are MPP. So MPP is down among the youth. Again, between 25 to 34 years, NDC is 40%, MPP 25%, also down. 35 to 44, NDC 45, MPP 27, down. 45 to 54, MPP 29, NDC 40, down. Among those who are 55 to 64, MPP 31, NDC 36. And then 60 plus, 28 for MPP and 40 for NDC. I will skip the rest and go to education, yes. Look at it. Among those with junior high, NDC is 43%, MPP 28. Among those with senior high, MPP is 28, NDC is 40. Among those with tertiary level and above, the elite voters, MPP is 21, NDC 43%.
Is that not a reverse?
That is a reverse, yes. It's never been like this before in the history of our polling. And then among those without formal qualification, MPP 35, NDC 36. That's where it is tied. All other groups, NPP is underwater.
And Musa, with the age group, I recall before the elections, the people from like 50 upwards, majority used to be NPP.
Yes.
It's dropped.
It's dropped. And look, another worrying data here is among the ethnic groups. I think that one is gone. Let me see. Ethnicity.
Yes, that's ethnicity.
This is very fundamental for MPP. If this sustains, they will be out for a long time. We used to know MPP to be a Akan party, right? Now, in Ghana, Akans, 36% of them, 36 are now NDC, 31 is MPP. Never happened before.
Could it be the type of accounts that,
no, accounts are accounts.
that you sampled?
No.
Maybe, but my question is, Ashanti region is MPP.
Yes.
Eastern region is MPP.
Yes.
When we say Akan, you could even add the Fantis
They are
in
part
Akan.
of it, yes.
But we do know that NDC does well in Fanti land sometimes, or a lot of the
Look,
times.
what is happening now, Moro, is in the eastern region. The accounts in eastern region and some elsewhere in the country are shifting.
And that's a stronghold, supposed to be the stronghold of the MPP.
So if you are weak here, I think that would be the biggest problem. Forget about the elite. But if you are weak in the account block, it will be very, very hard for you.
Musa, isn't it basically because it looks like people feel the president is doing well, the government has started on a good footing?
There's goodwill.
You see, political party affiliation, people join and leave. He says he's in Akan, but now it's in NDC. If things don't go well, he can leave. But for now, this is the data. For now, this is the data. And it's not surprising that in Eastern region, MPP is 30%, NDC 30%. It's never happened before. They are split in the Eastern region. And if you watch the last election results, the closest result was what? Eastern region. MPP 52, NDC 48. That was the warning sign.
Nearly 50.
Nearly 50.
So, and that's not normal.
That's not
in
normal.
The region. But again, Musa, we do know that the numbers, the turnout in 2024 were not as high. And so if NPP people didn't show up to vote, the few NDC people who go will statistically look significant. But if the NPP had come in their droves, then the statistics
and that has always been the argument for the MPP. That people didn't come out in their numbers to vote.
Look. I hope you heard John Boyd some other time that if they had come out to vote, the loss would have been heavier. Because it's proportion. Those who came out, how many of them didn't vote for MPP? That was quite significant. So if those at home had come out, what we would have seen is that the gap would have been much bigger, but the margin would be probably the same.
Okay.
In actual vote, that number would have been bigger, but proportion will remain the same.
So even those who stayed at home, if they came out, you don't think they may vote
No,
for?
because they were angry at home. Why would they come out and then
So it's better they stay off.
Yes. If they had come out, the gap would have been much bigger.
Okay.
And that would have been frightening.
Okay. Okay.
Now, and look at the regional party affiliation. Look, in the Ashanti region, MPP is 40%. Those who openly say they are MPP, 40%. NDC 25. Look at floating voters in Ashanti region, 23%.
And floating voters generally are not with the establishment.
It means they have moved from MPP. This is Ashanti region,
Yeah.
for God's sake. And we didn't know Ashanti would be home to big floating voters. It used to be Western and Central region.
Yeah.
Now, look at Central region. Floating is 8%. Look at Western region. Floating is 10%. So why has Ashanti gone to 23%?
How about Eastern?
Eastern region is here, 18% floating voters. These are all people who have left MPP.
But I'm even looking at Eastern 30-30.
Yes,
30%.
30.
Yeah.
So this is something that the NPP should be worried about.
They must get to work and fix it. Young people and leaders and their age. Look, people say it is time to elect young leaders. 58% of voters say it is time now to elect young voters, Ghanaian voters. Neutral about age, 30%. Those who disagree, look at it, only 12%.
Well, was that basically because when you look at
The population,
group,
it's
you
young.
have young people.
Of course. So why would they elect old people to come and lead them? Things are changing. Very dramatic indeed. Look at this. 40, 54, 58. If you add this, they say if you are this age and above, you shouldn't come near presidency.
Okay.
Look at where they started from. Ignore these two and add up all these. I think the young people have turned their back.
So they say 80 plus, yeah, forget.
Right. We just did a bit of work because we've heard about this argument that if there's a rerun of the election, somebody will win. And that. Let's see what things are. Look, if you ask them if there were to be a rerun
Today.
Today, the same candidates, who would you vote for? Mahama is what? 62%. Baumia 31%. Someone else 3%. Alan 2%. Bediako 2%.
So even worse than it was in December.
Yes, because remember he's getting 67% approval rating, 67. And in actual vote, he lost 5% from there. This is the reality of today's voters, having seen what he has done in the first year. This is how they would have voted. So MPP has a lot of work to do. Good news for them is that he's not contesting. So things might change down the line.
And we still have 3 years to the election.
3 years to the election. A lot can happen in the next 3 years. In the rerun, 11% of MPP people were voting for NDC, John Mahama.
They are not lawyers.
They're not a lawyer. But there were also 4% of NDC voting for Baumia. But look at the floating voters. Mahama gets 67%. Baumia 24%. The other parties, Mahama still get 33% of them. Baumia 18%. And those who don't disclose their party affiliation, these guys,
Dangerous.
they are MPP people, mostly.
Okay.
They are the disgruntled. If you see not disclosed in voter region and NDC stronghold, they are normally MPP. But if you also see non-disclosed in Ashanti and Eastern region, also MPP. And this is because of maybe brand issues. They would rather hide rather than expose who they actually support. Right, I think let me just skip this one. Let's go to the MPP NDC races. That is where I think, okay, this is very interesting. In the rerun, let's see who has won which region. In a rerun.
In a possible rerun.
No, rerun, yes.
Okay.
Bawumia claims back Ahafo, 49 to 40%. He retains Ashanti, but with lower percentage. Mahama stays exactly where he was compared to last election. Everything else remained the same. And then Northeast, Bawumia retains Northeast. But Northern region could be in play because Bawumia wins Northern region in the rerun.
Which he did not in the main election.
But what happened here is Eastern region. Now Mahama takes the Eastern region.
So
and this could be devastating in any election if NDC wins Eastern region.
So for NDC, the low-hanging fruit should be Eastern region, not Ashanti.
No. But Ashanti numbers are quite heavy.
Yeah.
If you're able to improve Ashanti by even 3%, it's huge.
Okay.
But if they flip the entire Eastern region, that would be a disaster for MPP.
But the thing too is that, let's not forget, Eastern region is a diluted region.
Very dynamic.
Yeah.
So many people are there.
Yeah, so it's not a 100% account region like Ashanti.
But beside, I think, 1992, it's always gone MPP.
Yeah.
Okay. So losing it...
Eastern region is going to be very problematic for MPP.
Especially when there used to be a common attack against Akufo-Addo. Remember that he won only 2 regions.
In the 2008 election.
Eastern and Ashanti, and there is not a national party. So if you're losing Eastern region in addition...
Then the sure bet for MPP will be Ashanti region and Northeast if Bawumia is on the ticket. If he's not on the ticket, it could just be left to Ashanti region. It could just be Ashanti region.
Yeah, because what is the connection to the Northeast region?
There's no longer...
Depends. So if it's a Brian, then it's a connection to Eastern region. If it's a Ken, then Central region. And Central region people, you can't trust them.
No, you can't trust them. Almost unreliable.
Every 4 years, they decide what they want to do. Okay.
Now let's look at the MPP race. All voters, everybody that matters. Who would you prefer to lead MPP?
Both MPP and NDC.
Everybody is in there, Ghanaian voters. Bawumia goes to 55.8%, Ken 28.2%, Brian 6.2%, Educhum 5.5%, and then you have Kobna J. Japan 4.3%. This is the view of Ghanaians. They want, or the views of Ghanaians, they want or they prefer MPP to elect Bawumia. That's what they say. Now, if you dig down between the 2 periods, October and December, Bawumia has dropped 1.6 compared to October. It was 57.4 before, now 55.8, drop of 1.6%. Ken was 29.3, now 28.2, down 1.1%. Brian was 6.0, now 6.2, up marginally 0.2. And then Educhum 4.6, now 5.5, up 0.9. And Ajay Japan 3.3, now from 4.3, up 1%. So barely any movement between the 2 periods. When we sampled various locations, nothing has changed. Now, what you want to look at now is that among people who are MPP, NDC, floating voters, other parties, and those who don't disclose, who would they prefer? MPP self-identified affiliates, they prefer Bawumia by 73%. Kennedy, 19%. Brian, 5%. Educhum, 2%. Kobna Ajay Japan, 1%. When it comes to NDC, they prefer Bawumia by 46%. 34 Kennedy. 7% Champon, 7 Educhum, and 6% Kobna Ajay Japan. When it comes to floating voters, 48 prefer Bawumia, 32 prefer Ken, 7 prefer Brian, 8 prefer Educhum, and 5% prefer Kobna Ajay Japan. For those who support other political parties, Bawumia is 43%, Ken 30%, Brian 10%, Educhum 10%, and Ajay Japan 8%. Those who don't disclose their party affiliation, 50% for Bawumia, 31% for Ken, 7% for Brian, 5% for Educhum, and 7% for Kobna Ajay. So this breaks down the numbers so you can see.
So it shows that MPP people like Bawumia, NDC people like Bawumia, floating voters like Bawumia, other parties like Bawumia, non-disclosed also like Bawumia.
But you see,
that's how it's looking?
Yes.
The interesting here is that there was a general perception of MPP people or NDC people preferring any other candidate than Bawumia. because of the fear that he could make some kind of impact in the coming election. But this particular data seems to prove that perception wrong.
You see, sometimes there are those who look at preferences in the light of just election. And others who say, who would I want to wake up and see as president? Would I be okay with, it may be NDC, but he would probably prefer he wake up one day and you see Bawumia as president. He will not be frightened. Some will say that I don't want to wake up and see Brian, or I don't want to wake up and see Bawumia as a flag bearer or as a president. So they have various thinking that they go through to make that decision. There are those who also choose based on electoral calculus. And you cannot really know why the NDC guys are preferring Bawumia or Ken, unless you go and do an in-depth study to go through their head, reasons and stuff like that. We don't have that time to do that in the field. So we've given them heads up. If you want to go and find out why is NDC voter preferring Bawumia or Ken, then that would be something that your own research team can do.
Interesting.
Now, this is MPP race, party affiliation, okay, 2025, okay, done. This is the October one. Let's break it up there further. Okay, here, we're looking at the period before October and now. In October, Bawumia was 69. It's now 73, so up 4%. Kennedy was 24, down to 19, down 5%. Brian was 3, now 5, up 2%. And Educhum was 2, still 2. And then Brian Ajapon was 2, 1 down. So you could see that the only persons that made gains were Bawumia and Brian Achampong in that period. And then if you say that if there should be runoff, who would you prefer to lead? Bawumia goes to 63% among all voters. And then Kennedy, 37%. This is not different from the last election.
Yeah.
Bawumia got 61 point something, and Ken got 37.4. So this is largely in line with that outcome. But we're not saying that will be a result of the MPP primaries. No. Now, this is interesting. Those who were voting for other candidates in round one, in the runoff, where would they go? For those who were voting for Dr. Yao Educhum, in the runoff, 56% of his voters will go to Bawumia, and 44 will go to Kennedy, among all voters. Bawumia retains 98% of his vote, but 2% in runoff switch to Ken. Brian Achampong, 51% of his people will go to Bawumia, and 49 will go to Ken. In the case of Ken, 12% of his guys left to Bawumia in the runoff. He retains 88%.
Is that higher or lower?
He's doing worse because he should have been retaining higher than Bawumia.
Similar to what Bawumia
exactly. Bawumia is doing 98, he's doing 88. That's 10 points lower in the runoff. And then among those who support Kobina Adjei Japan, 71% of them will go to Bawumia and 29 will go to Ken. Now, if this is the behavior of delegate, it simply means that the person who leads in the race will win the runoff. Because anybody or the other guys will team up with Bawumia and that will give him the victory. This is a sign. We don't know whether this is reflective of the delegate or not. That will come out in the next round of final poll. We're going to deliver.
Okay, Musa, before you take us, so we've ended with the MPP.
Yes.
So before you take us to the NDC, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, you tell us more about who's also going to lead the NDC going to the election. You're still watching The Citiuation, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafi here with Umaru Sanda, Amadou Fred Jabano, and Musa Dankwa. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, Musa will tell us about who is going to lead the NDC if they decide to choose a leader going to the election of 2028.
The Sweetroots Secondary School's Wesco Alumni Association invites all alumni to its annual all-year groups Thanksgiving and Remembrance service. There will be remembrance of the departed PACAs and also the launch of the 67th Speech and Prize Giving Day. The date, Sunday the 18th of January 2026. Time, it's 2 p.m. Venue, Cedar Mountain Assemblies of God Church, East Legon. Contact your year group president and register your attendance now. Semper Cum Optimus, always with the best.
You're welcome back. You're still watching The Situation Room, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Today we're looking at the MPP and who leads the party going to the election of 2028. Musa Danko has done some work which says that Dr. Bawumia is still the favorite to lead the party going to the election of 2028. Now he's done some work on the NDC as well. The members of the party or some individuals within the party who are also likely to succeed President John Dramani Mahama as leader of the NDC or the flag bearer of the NDC going to the election of 2028. Musa, who leads the NDC in 2028? That's the title.
The elephant in the room.
I thought, before you even answered, I thought the NDC people said you should stop throwing confusion in their camp and that they are not doing anything here. So why are you even
I was
doing
saying
a poll?
that it's not meant for them.
Why are you doing a poll for them when they said that they are not looking for a flag bearer, they are not ready, they are letting Mahama to us. So why are you doing
Eventually they'll look for one.
They're looking for one.
Why are you doing
But you see,
they say you are spoiling their party for them.
I'm not spoiling their party. If you have a discipline in the party, it doesn't matter what we do outside. You maintain your discipline and focus. Our work is necessary not for them, but for others who want to know. There are people who want to know who will lead NDC in 2020.
So you are not influencing them by this?
Absolutely not. How would that influence them? I'm just telling them what the public is telling me.
Okay.
And that cannot be a crime.
Okay, so you cannot be said to be a hired gun who is pushing somebody's agenda.
No, I've never been hired by anybody, and nobody can hire me anyway. So I do my job. And my job that I do as a global informatics, interface is what they do as a political party. And I need to tell my clients who could lead NDC in 2028 and who could even be the president in 2029. Okay. I don't wait for them.
Even after January 31st, the focus will be on NDC.
No,
yes. After January 31st, the focus will be on NDC.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So here what we did was that we lined up the possible names, the big guns and those we've had rumors that they are contemplating losing their boots and so on and so forth. None of these people have confirmed that they are running. None of them. But, with Mosquito, we've had a bit of,
Just thank you, Toy.
And also, it's open secret that he's going to run if he deems that is going to go in his way. He's going to run. Haruna Dusu has not said anything, but we know from his utterances he wants to lead. I mean, look, everybody here, why are you a minister? You want to be given a chance one day to lead your country. So anybody here can lead. At the first scene, he hasn't said anything, but he can lead. Jenna is the vice president. If she wants to contest, she can contest.
Interestingly, last time you didn't add there.
Yes, because I felt that the dynamics and the demographic issues may be a big challenge, plus her health. For national campaign, and by then she'll be around 76 or 70 something. It will be, and look at the voice of the young people. Yeah. So all those things are going to be very difficult for her. But for the sake of argument, we put her in to see how her people will behave when she's no longer in the race.
And in recent utterances from the education minister, on a number of occasions, he said publicly that the vice president will be a good leader, a good president. Yeah.
So it's proper for me to bring her in. Yes.
So this is her first entry, and she's starting from
the second entry.
And starting from 11.
Yes, from when she was brought back in.
Okay.
And then we have Julius Zebra, the Chief of Staff, Honorable Ablakwa, the Foreign Minister, Professor Joshua Alabi, who was run before, and he's still around. And then Eric Opoku, the Agric Minister, whom we understand has ambition as well. So when we went out there, we asked the public, who would you want to lead NDC after John Mahama? Haruna Idrisu, 26%. Atuforsin, 23%. Asedin Ketia, 22%. Professor Jenana Opoku, 11%. Julius Debra, 7%. Ablakwa, 6%. Alabi, 3%. And Opoku, 2%. So you could see that these are the front runners. Haruna, Atu,
Julius
and Asid.
Debra's percentage not too small.
It's not my decision.
Can't you add something? Because the thinking generally is that
I mean,
it is him
he
and Mosquito.
used to be higher before. When Jane was introduced, then she drained the vote from him.
Because they are from the same place.
You see, let me tell you what is happening. There are 4 or so accounts, or 5 accounts.
Okay.
Elikoboku is an
1.
account.
Yeah.
Debra,
2.
Prof,
3.
Asedin Ketia,
4.
Atuforsin.
5.
So if you add the votes from all the accounts,
Okay.
it's significant.
Okay.
At the moment, they are split.
Okay. There's
And-
only one north.
Only one northerner. So he has command of the entire northern sector. Nobody's competing with him there. So he's kind of backed up by that number. So you see him comfortably there. What is going to happen is that if some of the accounts begin to drop, they will consolidate around one candidate or 2 candidates.
These voters, are they NDC delegates? Are they national voters?
We'll get to that point. Among those who are MPP, 25% prefer Haruna Idrisu. 21 prefer Atuforsin. Asedin Ketia, 22%. Jane Nana, 14%. Let me take the top 4. When you come to NDC, 29% support Haruna Idrisu. 23 support Atuforsin. 23 Asedin Ketia, and 9% Jane Nana. Among floating voters, it's a 3-way tie. Haruna on 23, Atu 23, Asedu 23, and 13% for Professor Jane Nana Opoku. Among other political parties, Haruna 19, Atuforsin 21, Nketia 17, Jane Nana 16. Among those who don't disclose their party affiliation, Haruna 25, Atu 25, Nketia 19, and 14% for Professor Jane
So
Nana.
Haruna's lead is across.
It's across, yes.
Across parties, affiliations.
Yes.
Okay.
Tells you he's a very solid guy. Now, look at the changes between October and December. In October, Haruna was 29%. In December, he dropped 26%, down 3%. Atuforsin was 18%, now 23%. He gains 5% point. Asedin Ketia plus 5%. Asedin Ketia was 24, now 22, down 2%. Jane Nana was not there, now 11, so plus 11. Julius was 10%, down 7% now, 3% down. Ablakwa was 8%, now 6, down 2%. Alabi was 2, up 3%, up 1% overall. And Elikopoku was 3%, now 2%, down 1%. And there were other candidates that were there that were removed, so that went down 6%. So you can see that the entrance of Jane Nana has deprived Haruna Idrisu. In fact, Haruna Idrisu, Julius Debra, Asedin Ketia, Ablakwa, and the rest suffered when Atuforsin and Jane Nana gained the numbers.
Okay. Cool.
Now, another scenario that we did is to take Haruna and Jane Nana out. Because Haruna, North-North equation, people are mentioning that. I said, okay, let me try a scenario and see how his people will behave. And also by age, let's bring out Jane Nana and see what the numbers turn out to be. When you do that, then Atuforsin spring to the first position. Up 37%. Asedin Ketia, 33%. Julius goes up 12%. Ablakwa up 11%. Alabi 4%. And Elikopoku up 3%. Everybody goes up, but Atuforsin goes up a lot more. Another scenario. If we remove Julius Debra, Ablakwa, and we have a 4-horse race, who would you prefer to lead NDC? Atuforsin takes a commanding lead, 48%. Asedin Ketia, 41%. Alabi, 6%. Elikopoku, 5%. So this is the race if it's a 4-horse race. Now we are able to analyze where other supporters are moving when they're not in the race. And that's more insightful than the headline numbers.
So that'll give us an idea who is supporting, whose
Abso-
supporters are going to
absolutely,
support who.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. So that is the NDC race.
So I'm looking at Eric Opoku's performance. Hasn't been improving at all. Actually reduced from
Look,
the last time you did the polling.
I think,
And even with everybody taken away, with just 4, he's making 5.
you see, some of the
But it was
people,
mentioned even in 2020, even in the last 2
As a
general
possible running
elections.
mate.
Yes. So
the problem for many politicians these days is they're not present in our faces on daily basis. If you look at Haruna Idrisu and Atu Forsin, their roles as minority leaders in the past has put them in our faces every day. Finance minister probably is a minister that people watch his work
everybody
very
focuses
closely.
on them.
So it is difficult if you're not in our faces for you to come and suddenly lead. It doesn't happen like that. So people who want to lead must lead from the front,
Okay.
not from the back.
And Prof. Joshua Alabi, you got indications that he may still be interested because he has run before, and I think he was second to
Look,
President Mahama,
sometimes
was he not?
we do work with intelligence as well.
Okay.
You know, not
Okay.
everything that's openly secret, but when we tend to
Yeah.
get the whisper,
Okay.
you know, as posters, hey, this guy has interest, or do you know? And sometimes
Because for
you know,
someone who ran once and was second, I mean, even though it was a distant second, the percentage is not impressive for me.
time has changed.
Yeah, that's
Umaru.
true. That's true. That's true.
Time
And then
has changed.
talking about Mosquito, and I'm just trying to comment on all of them here, considering that he's possibly the most popular politician in the country. I don't even know whether maybe not even more popular than the president, I don't know. But Mosquito has a lot of recall. When he expressed, or when people said he had expressed interest and we saw indications that he was going to run, I actually thought that he was going to do so well. I didn't think that he would be offset by Atu Forsin and Haruna Idrisu, where if we were to do a pound for pound, Haruna Idrisu has been youth leader of the NDC before. So he, of course, popular. Atu has never been. He became minority leader just for 2 years or so. So I would have thought that Mosquito would be doing more. That's what it's just my view.
More especially when you said that these are people always in our faces. The Senegal has always been in our faces. You know?
Yeah.
Remember,
For God knows how many years.
beside all the issue of being in our faces, demography. Demography. The voters are young. And they told us much earlier that it is time to elect young leaders.
They don't want the old people.
58%. That is feeding in the kind of choices they are making.
I also believe that the reason we are seeing this is the present circumstance we find ourselves. You have an economy running, you have people happy with the economy. So it's very easy for a finance minister to get the support of a lot of people. If it should turn the other way around, we need to now find out whether it would be the same.
Absolutely.
So for me right now, yes, the demographics are there, but basically I think that it is just what is up now, what is present, how the economy is, and
Very.
what people make of the economy.
Absolutely right. If the economy goes the way it's going, it will be very difficult for him not to be the flag bearer. If the economy goes south, I think he will go down south to Ajumaku.
You're going to ICE.
Ajumaku is here.
Okay.
But Musa, let's talk about the Haruna bit. President Mahama is from the north.
Yes.
And if NDC delegates will get someone to succeed him, getting another person from the north, how would the dynamics play out?
You see, for NDC, there are a caucus of 4 groups, main groups. The Ghana Dangbe block is there. The Akan block is there. The Northern block is there. And then the Volta Oti block. So they survive by consensus.
It's a Congress.
It's a Congress. So for Haruna to emerge again, that he must convince all the other people that, look, despite Mahama being an ordinary, support me. And they can do so if they want to do so. But if they say, look, we are a group of people that share things going round. So if you've had your turn, I think it's time for the either Volta people or the Gandangbe or the Akans. And I think they would agree among themselves. NDC is known to reach a consensus and they'll move forward. For the nation, look, it will be a bitter pill for a northerner to go and a northerner to come. I'm an Akan, and I know what we say behind the scenes.
You're an Achim. An Akan who is an Achim. Now, it's interesting we look at it this way, because if from your polling, Haruna is the guy who leads the flag of the NDC, and again from your polling, Bawumia leads the flag for the NPP, we would then be having two Muslims, not just two Northerners.
Absolutely.
Two Muslims, one Dagomba, one Mamprusi.
Yes. You know what that would do?
Same scenario, another Northerner is going, another Northerner is coming.
In fact, I think on the balance of probability, that may be the second preference from the data for the MPP. When you have two Muslims on a ticket,
that way,
that would disarm the Christians. If you like, come and vote. If you don't like, stay at home.
It's still so the alternative is still a Muslim
Still a
anyway.
Muslim.
So you can't say that I won't vote because he's a Muslim.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Musa, you did some work comparing the candidates. Yes.
I don't think we have time. We'll do it.
Yes.
We don't have time.
Another
back.
point worth making. There are some, and you say you have intelligence. We also pick some here and there that, recently Haruna Idrisu has been saying that Prof. Jane would make a nice candidate. And people are even saying that he's angling to be Prof. Jane's running mate. Now, if he is doing better than Prof. Jane, then he may have to start reconsidering.
No. See, sometimes when people make certain statements in public, you have to really, take that a bit of,
Yeah, you should just. It's for the cameras.
It's for the cameras.
Or it's to test the waters. Or it's to get appeal for yourself.
But what that is doing is that it's making him look like he's resigned himself to VIP position. And if that is the case, then it's likely if Atifosim becomes the flag bearer, he could become the running mate.
Okay.
Or he's opened up to be a kingmaker to any of these
Kingmaker for what?
I mean,
something.
You're coming with a figure of about 40-something% or 26%, where you know that you have a whole group of people supporting you. These people, when you shared around, when I bring my people, there's a chance that you're going to win. So between the four of you, I'm going to make you the winner.
Yes.
Let's negotiate and see how it goes. It could be an open...
So he could decide to go to Aselin Ketia if Aselin Ketia wants to run.
Which will be very difficult.
Oh, why are you saying that?
And it will also be difficult. It will also be difficult to go with Atifosim.
But you see, if you look at the data...
I think it's easier to go with Atifosim.
If you look at the data...
If you
look at the data, if Haruna is not in the race, where do Haruna people go? They go to Atifosim.
Okay. Now, it could also be that he's pretending not to be interested. And then people say, oh, you come for it. So that's also a possibility.
for the MPP bids, is it the last one before 31st?
No, we will release on 24th January the last poll of MPP delegates. We've been doing...
You stick your neck out.
Oh, yes. We've been doing weekly tracking poll since the beginning of the year. We're doing that until 24th. On 24th, we'll release the final poll, and then we'll do our own predictions based on the polling data.
And you have also frozen Pandai because Supreme Court has frozen it. Or you have
but we've been there once, a second time again, and things have changed a bit.
I'm sure you go to Ayawaso too.
Ayawaso, I can close my eyes and give the numbers.
Musa, thank you. Thank you very much. It's been another exciting edition of The Situation that came to life from our studio here in Accra. My name is Samiri Afe. My brothers were here with me, Umar Sandamadu and Fred Tete Ijabon. So we'll come your way again. May the good Lord be with us all.